Hey everyone, and welcome back to Woodshop Junkies. Today I'm going to jump on something that I should have done a long time ago, which is sort out the lighting situation in my workshop. Yeah, I know, it's terrible. And that's why I decided it's time for an upgrade. Now for spaces like these, fluorescent tube lights are generally the answer, because they spread quite well. You can fill quite a large area with light using them, but fluorescent lights are not my favorite for a number of reasons. Firstly, they're high maintenance due to all the additional components. They're not very energy efficient because they generate quite a bit of heat, and I also find fluorescent lighting to get a bit harsh on the eyes after a while, especially when the tube starts aging. So my solution, like so many other people, is to convert my normal fluorescent light fitting to accept LED tubes. LED tubes are so much better in so many ways. They are low maintenance, they generate almost no heat, they're easier to dispose of, and because they're not filled with toxic mercury gas, they're safer as well. However, don't fool yourself into thinking that an LED tube uses less electricity than a fluorescent tube. A watt is a watt, which means that an 18 watt LED tube is going to draw the same amount of power as an 18 watt fluorescent tube. But because the LED is more energy efficient, you're getting more lumens per watt. But before I go on, as usual, I need to emphasize, if you're not skilled or confident enough to take on this project, then don't. Electricity is dangerous and it can kill you. Okay, so what I have here is a basic modern fluorescent light fitting, and it's modern because it has an electric ballast, which means it doesn't require a starter. In your older fluorescent lights, you'll notice you have a ballast, you use a starter, and they sometimes even have a capacitor. And this is what makes troubleshooting a fault on this light or these lights a pain, because it's not necessarily your globe when the light's not working. It could be any of these components. In the case of an LED, you don't need any of these. So I'm going to strip all of that out first. Okay, so now with the ballast removed, literally just cut the wires and took it out, I'm left with pretty much the housing for the light, the lamp holders, and the wires attached to the lamp holders. If it was an older light, obviously all the other components also would have been removed, the starter and the caps and all that kind of stuff, and just leave the housing and the lamp holders with their wires attached. But before I go on with the light fitting, there's just a few things I just want to point out about the LED tube. Now in the case of a fluorescent light fitting, you've got wires going to both holders because the light is being supplied from both ends, where an LED will only be supplied at one end, and that end is indicated with a live and a neutral. So this is the only end on this light or on this tube that will need to be supplied with power. The other end is pretty much just to go into the holder and keep the light in place. Which means that on these two holders with wires on, I'm only going to need wires on one, so I can pretty much cut off the other end or just tie up the wires and leave them inside the light, because the holder is only going to be there to keep the light in place. So as you can see, all I need to power this light is a live and a neutral. No additional components required. So what I'm going to do then is use the other lamp holder, just supply it with a live and a neutral, and put the light in, and it will work. The reason why is because the LED tube has all the components it needs to power up built inside. It's got an LED driver inside the tube. So straight from your power supply, a live and a neutral will go on here and the light will start up. I'm only using the light fitting because this tube was designed to fit into a fluorescent light fitting. Okay, so with everything out the way now, I can connect up my light. This, in my case, I've got a double holder, which means I've got this holder takes two tubes, and I need a live and neutral for each. So first, I just want to show this one first. It's got 4 wires, obviously 2 wires for each one, a live and a neutral. So in this case, I would take 1 wire from this holder, 1 wire from this holder, connect them together, that would be my live. And the remaining wires, connect them together, that would be my neutral. In this case, however, the one wire is bridged out between both holders, so I can use the blue wire for my neutral, the other two connect them together, use them for my live. If I use the blue wire for my live, I bridge out the other two wires and use them for my neutral. So I'm going to connect that up quick, and then I can put my light in and it'll work. And that's pretty much the conversion, guys. So, in very short, it's connecting your lamp holder straight to your live and neutral terminal on the light, and then I can supply the light with the live and a neutral, put the light in, and it'll work. So that's what I'm going to do now quick, just to show you how it works. And that's pretty much it, guys. So to summarize, converting a fluorescent light fitting to accept LED tubes is simply stripping out everything and using the holder to supply the tube with a live and neutral only. I may have over-explained it, but I didn't want to leave anything out. So, as always, I hope you guys learned something. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, remember to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Cheers!